Greetings and welcome to Growth Hacking Secrets. I'm your host Mohammed Siddique from Atlanta. On this episode, we have a special guest, Neal Bawa. Neal is the CEO and co-founder of Ugro Investments. Please join me to give a warm welcome to our guest, Neal Bawa.
Hey, Mohammed. Thanks for having me on the podcast.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate the time together. Let me start with this. Where were you? What happened? Who are you surrounded with that inspired you to do what you do today?
Well, I was a frustrated, overworked technologist. I was running the rat race and running harder and harder each day. I mean, had a massive mortgage, had private school bills to pay. So I couldn't afford to lose my big fat technology paycheck. And then I read Rich Dad, Poor Dad in 2007, and that completely changed my mindset. The next week, I offered a large classroom space that was inside my tech company corporate headquarters to a bunch of real estate meetups. And those meetups started holding their startups there. I started attending them after finishing my workday. I made new friends. Soon I became a meetup group owner. Then, over the next 2 years, I transitioned into becoming a conference speaker and then found my niche finally as a big data expert in real estate. And today, over 50,000 investors follow my data science. I've used it successfully to buy a $1 billion portfolio. All of it really started with understanding the frustration that was ruining my life.
Wonderful. That's amazing transformational story. What are the top three reasons why do people fail?
First, I believe people fail because of something known as confirmation bias. We see it in politics all the time. People fail because they only accept input that matches their existing worldview. They reject or ignore evidence that shows a different viewpoint or a different worldview. And as a result, they end up with a warped sense of their reality, and it makes it much harder to succeed. Now, the second reason is because people are afraid to fail. The truth is that failure and acceptance of failure is necessary for success. The people who've succeeded a lot have failed a lot. But most people are so terrified of failure that ironically, that's what prevents them from success, right? That prevents them from succeeding. And the third, I strongly believe that people fail because they do not constantly define and redefine success. What is success for me today? Money, love, fame. What am I looking for today? And how do I tell that I have it? How do I celebrate it? If I'm not having an internal discussion with myself about this definition all the time and changing it, then I will fail even if I succeed.
What is your greatest failure story? What did you learn and how did you recover from it?
In 2015, I joined a company that had just paid for a big property in Chicago. And I was new to this company. I was new to its methods. The founder, the senior partner, he showed me how the Obama Presidential Library was going to be built next to the building, and some developer was building 4,000 units a couple miles away. There was also some other interesting future stuff going on. He and I both noticed that the property was very gritty, it was problematic. And so he and I started having a conversation. Look, this is a very problematic property, we should sell it. But both of us started to look at the future growth of that area, the future, and we kept the property. We could have sold it at that point in 2015. Well, 6 years later, none of those future things had come to fruition, and the property was still not worth what we had paid for it, a number of years ago. Even though we sold it for a much greater price than what we had paid, it was a failure as a project for all of the investors concerned. The big lesson that I learned simply is this: do not make investments based on what will happen in the future. Make investments based on what a property is worth today. Because when you make investments based on the future, you're basically drinking the Kool-Aid. And I refuse to drink the Kool-Aid again.
That's a big, people do mistakes in investment. That's a really big one.
Yeah.
What are your top three success secrets that other can model from?
First one is the use of data science, the use of numbers, right? I like to say, I've got this quote, and that quote is that the Bible got it wrong by one letter. It is not the the meek that shall inherit the earth. It is the geek. The people that are data scientists today, the people that are using data today, are the right people, right? One of the questions you like to ask is, what's your company's motto? Our company's motto is data beats gut feel by a million miles. So my first success secret is be numbers driven in everything that you do. Your gut feel will also get better because now your gut feel is going to be numbers driven. So that, is my first day, success secret. The second one, which I'm very, very confident about, is this. We live in a digital world today. We're obviously everyone that's watching this is watching this digitally. In a digital world, there are no boundaries. So why in God's name would I only hire people from the US? So my company's mantra is this. For every one full-time person that I hire in the United States, I hire two people in the Philippines. And so I have a team that's basically always one third onshore, two-thirds offshore. And I found this to be such a massive predictor of future success, such a massive strategic advantage that 99% of my competitors can never even get close to me. So, offshoring is a key success driver in a connected world, in a digital world. So that's, sort of the number two success secret that I have. The third success secret is that we do not market. Okay, so we do not spend a single dollar on marketing. We spend all of our money on brand building and credibility building. So we spend humongous amounts of money on in-house researchers that write white papers, create webinars, and we basically are just continuously sharing our viewpoint of the world with investors and letting them make the decision on when they're ready to come into our projects, as opposed to having a sales force that goes out and connects with these people, right? So last year we raised well over $100 million with just two people in our team that were whose job it is to actually have conversations with investors. But we have 14 people on our team whose job it is to help me build my brand. By doing this, we've turned the marketing, methodology on its head, because our focus is continuously on building a data-driven brand and let the investors take the first step towards investment.
What motivates you within?
I have a desire to live the richest and fullest life that I can. And when I say richest, I don't mean money.
What are your company's motto?
Ah, data beats gut feel by a million miles.
Who is your ideal client?
Any data geek, any nerd who wants to use data science to buy real estate and make incredible profits is an ideal client.
How do you find your ideal client?
By sharing our real estate data science, we share it on YouTube, in webinars, in podcasts. We constantly share how we use data science, and that's how we find all of our clients.
What are your well-defined products or services?
We build beautiful rental communities in markets that no one's ever heard of, together with our investors.
Why someone should buy from you?
Because they're guaranteed that we've used data science to find the exact right communities, the exact right markets that have the very highest growth and the very highest profit.
How do you crush your competition?
Once again, by using real estate data science, it allows us to massively boost profits far beyond what our competitors are capable of. The downside of this is we have to constantly rebuild our connections because we cannot operate in one metro, two metros, or even 10.
For your investors, how do you deliver a five-star experience?
Um, by constant communication, what I found is there's really no such thing as too much communication. So we looked at the industry standard of quarterly communication and we turned it into monthly communication. And also, we're very obsessed with making our newsletters cleaner and clearer. For example, starting December, we use very visible red colored graphics in our newsletters about investor K1s. We know that that's when their anxiety starts to rise in December. And so from December to March, we have these animated graphics about K1s. These little things matter because investors don't just need you to communicate, they need you to basically help you with the investment.
Yeah. How do you convert your investors into your brand ambassadors?
I think that the true answer to that is that if they believe that what you're saying is true, they become your brand ambassadors. They will tell other people about what you're doing. So what you need to do is need to be very careful about your messaging and making sure that your messaging is so tight and straightforward that not only can this person remember it, but they can actually transmit it to other people. And so we obsess over making our messaging very tight and specific, allowing those people to basically repeat that at cocktail parties.
Yeah. As in a multifamily, and I think on our first call, I recall that you mentioned that on your developments, you guys make 50, 150%, like a very high number, which outrageous, success.
Yes,
They typically, because I have interviewed many multifamily syndicators, so they IRR is around somewhere around 10-15%, maximum 20%. I've heard.
yes.
What differentiate you from that? How do you make your many time more number than the competitors?
Well, the answer is if you look at my website, you will see all of my completed projects and you'll notice that my IRR is 36%. And the biggest reason is this. My competitors do not know the specific markets that I'm going into. I do not go into superstar markets that most syndicators are comfortable with. I go into unknown markets, Idaho Falls, Logan, Utah, Dayton, Georgia. I go into markets that my data science show have a massive upside to them. And that's what allows me to increase my IRR. Second, I'm unafraid of building. 99% of multifamily syndicators in the United States have never built a property. I've built dozens.
So are you also in New York, Rochester, Buffalo, in that area?
Not at all. I do not believe that the East Coast of the United States is the right place to do real estate. I think those areas are phenomenal, especially the Virginia, marketplace, but they do not have as much upside. My belief is only to invest in markets that are upside. So I leave many great or magnificent markets in the US simply because they don't have as much upside. I will take a lower grade market with greater upside any day over a superstar market that doesn't have as much upside.
Thank you. Thank you. We are about to move into lightning round. That means quick question and quick answer. Are you ready?
Yes,
What are you grateful for today?
I'm grateful for everything in my life. I have an incredible life. I recognize it, and I'm grateful for all of it.
How do you start your day?
I start my day by writing down all of my tasks as part of the miracle morning.
What you want to do when you grow up?
I want to get to the point where I'm not chasing money anymore. I'm simply chasing things that have nothing to do with money.
What are your plan to achieve your goal?
I have very specific plans. In the first part of it is have a money dollar goal and write it down saying that when you hit this, you cannot spend 1 second of your day chasing money. So, and I'm 2/3 of the way to that goal, so I'm very excited.
How will you feel in case you don't achieve your goal?
I feel great. I mean, the key thing is celebrate every day. So I'm a very successful person, and I start every day by celebrating my success. So if I don't hit my goal, I'm still celebrating a successful life every day.
How do you overcome a challenge life throws at you?
By going up against it, I think that the truth is that I'm at the point in my life where challenges I've overcome so many of them that they don't bother me anymore. So it's simply a challenge of the day or a challenge of the week, and it needs to be addressed. You get to that level of confidence at some point in your life.
What is the advice you will give to a younger yourself?
Don't be afraid to fail. Failure is absolutely the key to success. Nothing helps you succeed like failure. Nothing creates resilience like failure. If you're afraid to fail, you're not going to succeed.
Once you have a revenue generating idea, how do you convince your significant other?
I simply don't tell her. I tend to gather a team of people that are sold on that concept, sold on that idea, have already put a significant amount of time on it, and I keep it away from my significant other.
Who is your living mentor and what's the impact?
The past CEO of the company that I ran for about 15 years is my living mentor. The key impact is that I can see an angel version of him and a devil version of him on my shoulders, and I'm able to carry on a conversation and look at both sides, and it really helps me.
Why being impactful is important to you?
Because what is the point of living a life that has no impact on anything else around you? I mean, it's completely hollow, it's completely empty. In my opinion, it's completely worthless.
What do you want to be remembered for?
Um, hmm, I want to be remembered as someone who made and tried to make a difference to the world.
How can we support you?
Um, if you're a geek, if you're a nerd, if you enjoy numbers and how they change things, share our information with other people like that.
We are about to wrap up. I'd like to have a few words about your today's guest experience on the show. Here's my question. What would you say about your today's guest experience on the show?
I like your show because it's so much more concise than many of the shows that I've been to. So I think the format's excellent.
What would you say as a final word?
Um, Today is the most important day of your life. Always, every single day.
Thank you so much, Neil, for sharing your wisdom with us today on the behalf of Growth Hacking Secrets community and our entire team. We really appreciate you. This is Mohammed Siddique signing off from Atlanta. Until the next episode, all good wishes.